Look, there's a fine line. Let me show you.
Trans people want to fit in.
That didn't make any sense to me.
Y'all even still nasty like that today.
You should be ashamed of yourself, that's all I have to say.
I was wearing my mask because I just got back from a full day of being a good person.
Why?
I've got a bunch of passing, pick-me trans people up in my comments right now telling me that I'm making society a worse place for us all by being myself and sharing my experience. Let me tell you, you are privileged as hell to be passing. Not all of us want to be living up to society's expectations of gender norms and beauty standards. Besides, there's more to beauty than appearance. It's also about opinion, and your opinion is ugly as hell.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what you're trying to pass as, so you know, just saying. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the show. Glad you could be here today. Listen, we've got a lot of stuff to go over, a lot of absurdities, and one being that people are now starting to say, hey, look, you all had a choice. You didn't have to get forced to get the jab. It was all your choice. Well, reality would say otherwise. We'll get into it by jumping in to that liberal pool of madness. So sit back, relax, and buckle up. We're about to enter the Lib Zone.
I just hope people that I know that if you voted for that man, I will never forgive you. I will never, ever forgive you. It must be nice to be you and to not have it affect you. You should be ashamed of yourself, that's all I have to say.
Well, you know, it is pretty nice to be me. And I'm not affected because I'm not mentally ill like you. I voted for him. I'll never forgive you freaks for grooming kids and telling them they can change their gender. Disgusting Fs. Quite a few barfing emojis. I love watching uneducated Democrats have Trump derangement syndrome breakdowns. Well, it is my bread and butter. I am a single issue voter. I voted for Trump just to watch this woman cry. You too? Well, that's quite the coincidence. And speaking of watching women cry, well, here's another one.
Whoever fought for women to get jobs.
What?
Why? Why did we do that? I am so tired. I want to just put my feet up. Like, I am, oh my God.
Just imagine what she would be like after having a few kids. Good grief.
It's not racism, it's pattern recognition. Look, there's a fine line. Let me show you. You walk into a Target and you see a black dude with Lululemon on, and you think he's gonna rob you?
No, I wouldn't think he's gonna rob me, but I probably would think he's a little
Gay! Hey, you know what else I'm gonna teach you, Peckerwoods?
okay.
I'm gonna teach you, Peckerwoods, about really how nasty y'all are.
Okay.
You know y'all used to eat dead mummies, right?
What the hell did you just say?
Y'all ancestors used to grind up mummy bones, and eat the shit. You use the shit as like season. Y'all don't even use seasoning today, but y'all used to use mummies' bones ground up for season. This is how nasty y'all were. Y'all even still nasty like that today because y'all still eat people.
What?
Y'all ancestors is over there in London, England, Scotland, France, Europe.
Yeah.
Over there eating dead carcasses. Even today, y'all still eat raw meat. Y'all meat gotta be pink and bleeding. Again, if the sun don't love you, neither do God.
Look, I've only eaten one person, okay? And I will admit it wasn't my finest moment. Has anybody felt a little off lately? Like something strange is going on? Now, I'm not sure if it's because CERN has been taken offline for maintenance or maybe we've slipped into a new timeline. I'm not sure. But people now who just last week were demanding we use pronouns are now like, hey, look, it's not really that cool to ask people for pronouns. I'm not sure what's going on. Take a look.
You get annoyed when people ask you your pronouns?
Yeah. Even though I'm like, I taught you for years that that's what you're supposed to do, and now I regret it so truly deeply.
I was never for it. I learned super quickly that it actually was not a good idea to go around just asking people their pronouns. I remember I went to a lesbian bar, went up to some super butch woman and asked her for her pronouns, and she was pissed. Almost a little bit hands-on with you, I'm not gonna lie. Also, when somebody transitions, isn't their goal to pass as the gender that they feel they are? Asking for their pronouns kind of defeats their purpose of integrating in society. Like, believe it or not, it almost kind of outs them.
Truly deeply.
So how do you do it now? Because I feel like people are over the asking the pronouns. It's a little awkward. It's a little clumsy. You know, when you're in a social space, someone's like, oh, so what are your pronouns? Some people get offended, you know, because you're like, you wouldn't ask everyone that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if I asked someone who I knew was trans, I believe it would actually potentially trigger them because they would know that they didn't pass. In my opinion, if you don't know, just ask one of their friends. I feel like that's the easiest way.
How do we go about finding out people's pronouns now?
I feel like we listen. We watch.
It's just so funny to me because we're basically just back to the old way of doing things. Trans people want to fit in, like actual trans people. They don't want to stand out. And you'll likely know which direction a trans person is headed not based on their looks necessarily, but based on their mannerisms and the way they interact with the rest of the people in the environment that they're in.
If you're new here, welcome to The Dave Show. And if this feels like your kind of daily therapy, hit subscribe. Come hang out with us. We're here Monday through Friday. All right, let's get on with the rest of the show. You remember meeting these people during COVID that just absolutely thought they were more superior than you, that wore masks? They thought they were more moral than you because they weren't trying to kill everybody? These people were such sheep. Check out this next lady. It's pretty funny.
My apologies. I was wearing my mask because I just got back from a full day of being a good person. I love my mask because it's a simple yet effective way to display my righteousness. Am I concerned that 2 children in China dropped dead because they were forced to wear masks in gym class? Nope. Am I concerned that we're creating a generation of children who will be socially awkward and conditioned to fear their fellow man? No. Am I concerned that I'm contributing to an impending socialist technocracy that will enslave the global population? Not even a little bit. Am I concerned that my mask is symbolic of my compliance to the social conditioning that will eventually lead to the forced vaccination of every man, woman, and child on planet Earth? Not a chance. And why am I not concerned, you ask? I'm not concerned because I decided a long time ago that shallow, insignificant gestures are a much easier way to showcase my morality than actually being moral. Because in order to be a real good person, I gotta stand up to a real bad person. And I don't like standing up to or for anything. I've decided that it's much easier to trick my own mind into thinking compliance is a virtue instead of what compliance actually is. Cowardice. I prefer to float through life completely ignorant to the fact that every socialist takeover has always begun in the exact same way, with government overreach, public shaming, censorship, and a toilet paper shortage. Don't believe me? Google toilet paper shortage in communist Russia. Did you think you were having a unique experience? I prefer to pretend history never repeats itself so that I can stand by and turn a blind eye every time history repeats itself. I prefer to call anyone who speaks up, fights back, or stands their ground a lunatic or a conspiracy theorist so that I don't feel obligated to do my own research. Research takes away from me time. And lastly, I prefer to put on my mask and stand among a sea of masks so that I never have to be seen, be free, or reveal the deep dark shadows that lurk within me.
So, since some of you anti-vaxxers want to basically mock me for trusting medical science, let me just give you all a backstory about my life, shall we? See, I was born November 7th, 1993. At only 4 months of age, it was discovered that I had a hole in my heart. My parents spoke to their doctor, and it was concluded that I needed open heart surgery fast. And years later, here I am. All of that is thanks to medical science. Now, in y'all's messed up, selfish minds, my parents shouldn't have concealed with their doctor, and instead they probably should have just trust pseudoscience. Because, pseudoscience would totally fix a hole in the heart. So while y'all love to spread y'all pathetic pseudoscience around like it's nothing, I'll be over here trusting trained medical professionals with my health. Have a good day.
Yeah, your diagnosis and treatment was based on actual medical facts, not what came out of Fauci's butt. Big difference.
This doctor right here, I left a comment because he was claiming to cover medical disinformation and answers questions that people have. And one of the questions was basically, do masks harm our immune system? I said, yes, they do. And what you're saying is false. Then I get this response. I have been an exposure scientist for 20 years. I work as a senior industrial hygienist. We work in preventive health. We basically have a very complex profession with about 15 different disciplines. Masks and respirators are something that is exactly my wheelhouse. I've managed the respiratory protection program for over 76,000 people, and I've tested over 10,000 masks and respirators. And this is a constant question I get from people who clearly convey that they don't know anything about how PPE and source control affects the human body. First, we need to address the fact that masks in healthcare are not worn to stop a virus. They are for bacteria, to stop large droplets of spit and sputum during surgeries so that it doesn't get into the suture or when you're closing wounds. But there are plenty of studies that say that's not needed. Why? Because we have engineering controls and we follow something called the hierarchy of controls. PPE and source control is the least desirable and at the very bottom. But in healthcare settings, me along with other engineers go and we implement proper air exchanges. We install dilution, destruction, and filtration technologies to protect you against viruses, bacteria, and molds. Not only that, you're in a very cold environment. Have you ever been wheeled into an OR and you see how cold it is? That's an engineering control that was put in place by someone in my profession. We know that prolonged mask and respirator use highly affects the immune system. How do we know this? Well, it's the exact reason why you have to be medically cleared to even wear an N95 respirator. But let me read something to you from a study by your very own government, which I believe you have a lot of trust in. This was a study that looked at immune response and immune function after prolonged mask wearing for 6 hours. The results showed a significant increase in pulse rate in participants who wore masks for more than 6 hours. I love pointing out the government's own studies right here that tell you that prolonged mask wearing does affect immune response, making the body weaker in its resistance to infectious agents. Here's your study right here, and it's one of many. And it's why OSHA's respiratory protection program has been in place since the 1970s. I have great respect for doctors and healthcare workers. I work with them and I train them. We all have a multidisciplinary approach that comes into play when we're dealing with a pandemic. I've been in this for 20 years. I act as an expert witness on this very issue. I know a doctor would not be sworn in as an expert witness on this topic. We have to stop thinking that white coats are the norm of all things. Just like attorneys, they all have subspecialties. I'm not going to get my pap smear from a dentist. So please, don't get your information on how PPE and source control impacts the human body when someone's not an industrial hygienist.
If anybody has any doubts on whether medical masks, surgical masks, the normal stuff most people wore, had any effect on this virus, well, this one's for you.
So when we breathe on, the lenses and fog them up, the moisture we're getting on there, that's the aerosol. Scientific studies before this pandemic have shown that low-cost masks, and so we're talking about surgical masks and the cloth masks we're wearing, these low-cost masks have pore sizes that range between 80 and 500 microns in size. So a huge range, right? The diameter of the virus is 1 micron.
Holy crap. 1 micron? I didn't know it was that small. Okay.
The largest possible small droplet that can comprise a typical aerosol and 2 viral particles is 62 microns in diameter.
Wow.
So I want to put that in perspective. The smallest pore size is 80. So that means the largest droplet coated with the virus can pass right through. Now, so let me see if I can show you.
So that's basically like having a handful of marbles and throwing it at a chain-linked fence and expecting all of the marbles to be stopped. That's what these people were saying about regular old surgical masks because they were idiots. Let's go on.
Look at this. We've been told to use up to 3 masks. So I've got 1. And I actually don't know if I'm going to be able to get.
Sir, who? Okay. For the times that we had to wear a mask, which there were times, who wore 3 masks? Come on, seriously?
All these on, because one of the things that's interesting, actually, my right ear pinna now is permanently deformed a little bit. It sticks out from my head more than the other one because of all the mask wearing. But so let me put on, here's 2 masks. Here's 3. I'll put on a 4th one. I don't know if I'll get the 5th one on.
That's absurd.
Okay. So 5 masks. They're 3-ply surgical masks. So
Okay, this is interesting. He's wearing 5 masks. 5. Not just 1, 5. So he should have absolute coverage. Nothing should get out. Right?
15 layers. I'm going to seal it around my mouth. If this is true, the aerosols come through, then this should fog up. We'll see.
Wow. Seriously.
Can you see the fog?
Oh, yeah.
Watch this. I made a cross. Can you see my eyes through that cross?
Yep.
So there's so much moisture there that you can see. Look at that cross pattern. There's so much moisture there. So I'm not going to say any more, right? All I'm saying, I'm just going with the science. So this is crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. And it is amazing, and not in a good way, how many sheep we actually have in this country that can take everyday common medical understanding of how viruses work and just take that knowledge and crumple it up in a nice little ball and throw it in the trash. You know, they say follow the science. Well, what are they gonna go back to bloodletting? Is that going to be the new cutting edge thing to keep us all healthy? Yeah, these people are all buffoons. If you ever wanted to know what Fauci actually thought about wearing masks, you know, before he got bought up by Big Pharma or before he was possessed or whatever happened to that guy, well, this is your lucky day.
People should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is. And often there are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
And can you get some schmutz sort of staying inside there?
Of course.
I have a question for all of the liberals who have so much sympathy for Dr. Fauci right now. Where was your sympathy for the people who literally were not there to be able to see their children being born? The people who weren't there for their grandparents, their parents who were dying in the hospital, the grandparents and parents who were literally alone. Where was your sympathy for them? Or your sympathy for the people who lost their businesses, who had to get fired because they refused to get jabbed, or the people who did get jabbed and ended up having heart issues, fertility issues, people whose lives were forever changed in a negative way because of Dr. Fauci's BS. Where was your sympathy for them? Those are the people that I have sympathy for. I have zero sympathy for Fauci. I'm sorry, he's getting every single thing that he deserves.
If it was forced, then everyone would have gotten it. Everyone. It was not forced. No matter what the choices look like, you had a choice.
This is the level of delusion that we are dealing with here. No, nobody was holding people down and forcibly injecting this stuff into their body. That's not what we're talking about. But there are other ways to get people to do what you want them to do, like making life so difficult for them that they just give in. Like perhaps, yeah, you don't have to take this jab, but if you don't, you're going to lose your job. If you don't, you're not going to be able to support your family. If you don't, your family may starve. But you can tell people like this exactly that, like many people in her comments did, and she'll still say, you could have just as easily walked away from that job and not be able to support your family. But it was still your decision to make. Not to mention, these were the same people that were like, if you don't get the jab, you don't deserve healthcare. If you don't get the jab, you should be turned away at the hospital or the doctor's office. If you don't get the jab, you don't deserve to travel or go to work or go to the grocery store or leave your home. People like this woman were in favor of us losing everything and being completely shunned from society if we didn't comply. These were the people that were telling us if we didn't, then we were responsible for other people losing their lives. No, we were not being held down to have this thing forced into us. But if that had been an option, people like this woman would have been absolutely in favor of it.
Yeah, and I just saw a clip from Toronto, Canada, I believe it was, where there is this patient that I guess wasn't wearing her mask exactly right or something like that. And she got straight up murdered for not wearing her mask. And there were witnesses, including police officers, and nothing was said, nothing was done. The judge dismissed the whole thing and everybody went on their way because, you know, she didn't mask properly. This is so disgusting, such a dark stain on our country. Thanks, Fauci. This next lady is one of millions of people out there that had negative consequences placed on them because they had the courage not to get the shot or not to wear a mask. And it is hands off to all those that were able to resist. And I know not everybody was, but let's take a look at this. Well, I was going to say young lady. She's not a young lady. But she is a vet, and we thank her for her service. Take a look.
Hi, my name is Carol Lynn Wood. I live in Anniston, Alabama now. I used to live in North Carolina, where I basically grew up, a preacher's kid, and I went to the Army right after high school. I learned early from Korean and Vietnam era veterans how to protect my rights and protect the rights of others. 2021, I went to the VA hospital clinic in Kernersville, North Carolina, to get my glasses that were in, and they would have to be fitted. And I refused to wear a mask because I had an incident where my t-shirt was pulled over my head and years ago, and it caused me to have panic attacks. So once I learned that the masks were not necessary, I just could not see trying to put on a mask or even a shield. That didn't make any sense to me. So I was pulled outside of the VA and I was told I'd have to leave, and I didn't. I had to get my glasses, and my husband had an appointment also there, and so they pulled him out of his cardiologist appointment to tell him I was being arrested. People were walking past me, coming out the door, just yelling at me, just comply and do what they tell you to do, and it disappointed me. They had to cart me down to the Forsyth County jail, and after they let me go, they gave me a court date, and I had to wait a couple of months, and the VA dropped the charges, but that still means I was not able to continue my guardian ad litem position because I'd been arrested for trespassing on federal property. I'm thankful for this time now that we've arrived at where the whole world will get the information that we deserved, and I had to wait all these years, 6 years, to be basically vindicated, but it has been very hurtful to not have contact with some family members who said I was too dangerous now. Thanks for listening.
Hey everybody, I'm building a new little explainer channel called Dosh Day, where we answer seemingly simple questions like, why is the sky blue and not purple? Yeah, well, it's weirdly fun, and it helps the new channel a ton if you'd go watch one. And hey, look, if you like it, please subscribe. All right, let's get back to the rest of the show. All right, we are jumping out of that pool of madness, and I just wanted to give everybody a reminder that when you go someplace like a beach where there's a bunch of seagulls, well, don't do what this young lady does. You might be hungry. Take a look. Have you ever had something really bad happen to you? Not physically, but just with your property or stuff you owned, and you're just like, I have no idea how I'm going to explain this to the insurance company? Well, you should be lucky you're not this guy. Take a look. And finally, my friends, I wanted to leave you with a clip that is really what, in my opinion, America is all about. That we look out for our neighbors and we help people when we can. And this next clip is a great example of that. And this old man is very appreciative of the help that he gets. Take a look.
You need any help lifting the heavy items?
I can sure use it.
I got you, sir. I can grab that. I grab that for you. Just tell me where you want everything at.
Just in the back here.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing better now that you're helping me. Appreciate it.
Yep, I come through right on time.
You did that.
All this going in the back? See?
Yeah.
Just in the back?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to make room for that, right? I got you.
Yep. That's all I needed right there. Thank you, sir. Oh, you anything?
No, you don't owe me nothing. Just shake my hand.
Appreciate it, man.
You know, small acts of kindness like that really does help the world be a better place. Well, that's it for me today, my friends. Thank you for spending time. I really do appreciate it. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, slap that bell all over the place so you're always notified if you've got an extra hype. I'll totally take it. And until the next episode, stay safe and have a great day.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear.